let's see what happens in males. There, stuck to 100. You will see there is hardly any difference in young and old, around 65 and 60, not much. So I was thinking, why is there so much difference in females and males? One thing is certain, younger people have more deficiency. Why is that? Obviously, because older patients get more attention from doctors and they receive supplements. And then again, females being premenopausal, perimenopausal, postmenopausal, it has been ingrained on their minds to take their calcium tablets, and almost all of them take something, and they receive some RDA units of vitamin D as well. Some of them get their supplements as well. And also the sufficiency group, none of them had, naturally sufficient levels of vitamin D. They all had received mega units of vitamin D sometime or the other. So then, what was the course of action? I gave them all behavioral advice. I told them to expose themselves, like Ashish said, between 11 to 1, etc., minus sunscreen, minus moisturizer. And they all looked at me like I had given them some impossible task. They were all too busy to stand out in the sun. They were busy in their offices, their kitchens, and it was very obvious that none of them were ready to go out. A few IT professionals would take a round in their lunchtime, but then fully clothed, backs of hands and face would be exposed to sun. I wonder how much vitamin D they will make out of that. So supplementation, I used a fairly moderate amount of supplementation, 60K units per week for 8 weeks, followed by 60K per month for a year. And then I told them, like Ashish said, to stop for a while before they went in for a follow-up test. So what was the effect? There was a clear benefit in painful conditions related to bones, joints, and muscles. Not all of our patients, physicians' patients, reach orthopedic surgeons, so many of them are treated at our level when they don't have much of a problem, but problems that undermine their quality of life, they do get benefit out of this. I found definitely some benefit in reduction of allergic colds and frequent respiratory infections as well. There was surely a feel-good factor among the elderly. People were extremely sincere in adhering to the first of month schedule of their sachet, because they said that it gives them pain-free movements, daily, day-to-day movements. It is difficult to ascertain the beneficial effect of vitamin D in the last group, diabetes, hypertension, etc. They were all on polytherapy, so I have no way to say that they did get benefit. What is the downside of vitamin D testing so much? It is expensive, as somebody pointed out. One test would cover the cost of vitamin D supplementation for 2 to 3 years maybe. It is a burden on patients and labs as well, too much work. Again, not sure about benefits in most of our patients like diabetes and hypertension, etc. There is a risk of over-enthusiastic supplementation. Here, if you follow to a certain regime, generally that does not happen. But then in our patients, they are in the habit of consulting too many doctors. So all these doctors, without taking history, if they start giving supplementation, that could be a disaster. Lastly, I feel that this testing can give misdiagnosis of underlying ailment, because we may tend to feel that just do vitamin D of each and every patient that walks in and say that, oh, this is what is wrong with you, this vitamin D deficiency. So what do clinicians like me need? We need an easily available and economical test so that we can do it in all patients, or patients having such problems, and so that we can repeat the test when necessary to make sure that they do not get toxic levels, etc. I seriously feel that our calcium and vitamin D tablets should have a revision of RDA, because I took a quick survey and I found most of the popular brands, they contain calcium tablets, I'm talking about. They contain only 250 to 400 units of vitamin D, and I believe that most of our patients need more. And we definitely need endocrinologist consensus guidelines about who should be tested, uh, when should we do follow-up tests, and a cost-effective therapy, Indian therapy protocol for different patient populations. So will I continue vitamin D testing? Yes, because I know that deficiency is rampant in our society, and correction clearly benefits musculoskeletal disorders and may benefit non-skeletal disorders as well. So it is justifiable to be vigilant. Thank you.